coming to a seated position, maybe propped up on a block or a pillow or something like that, so that the knees can gently release and we aren't feeling pulling up and the low back unable to adjust to that position. So that concept is what we want to keep with us as we always practice, is always remembering to shape the posture according to the body, and the body fit into the posture as it's able. Never looking for pain or strain. So as we're sitting up tall, just notice if you trace the spine with the mind, start from the base, and work your way all the way through the middle of the spine, the space between the shoulder blades, and then the neck, top of the spine. And just picture the shape in your mind. What is the spine shape like at this moment? And as you trace, you might trace the spine up, you might trace the spine down with your mind. Pay attention to any sensations that you're experiencing in the spine. So much of our practice centers on the health of the spine itself and the ability for the spine and everything connected to it, which is everything, to work efficiently and effectively. So let's try to shift into a little bit of a taller spine. And as we're doing this, first start with the bottom, pay attention actually to the physical bottom, to the sitting bones, and notice the sitting bones and see if you've got the weight forward or a little back, or if you've got more weight on one sitting bone than the other, and start to balance like right in the center of the sitting bones. You might rock a little forward, back, side to side until you can identify where that is. And then see if you can just lift up in the base of the rib cage, just lift up the base of the rib cage slightly so you feel that low back extend up instead of collapse. So you feel the rib cage lift. Then we're going to feel the chest lift up a little bit. It's almost that you feel the upper spine or the middle spine between the shoulder blades. You feel it kind of extending, like the shoulders are now pulling back. So we have this upward experience, but then there's a sternum right here. You could take your finger right to it and just gently push it in. So now you have the core a little bit more engaged. Okay, so we're kind of just working from the bottom up. So we aren't popping the ribs out, they're just slightly drawn in, but we still have lots of lift in the spine. Now then take your attention all the way to the chin and take the chin forward, draw the chin all the way in, then draw it forward and then draw it slightly in. And now we have a little bit of a better alignment with the spine. Let's start to use the breath to help us with our practice. So pay attention now to the breath flowing in through the body. You might notice it through the nostrils. You might notice it through the chest or the belly. You might notice the movement of the trunk in unison, like a wave-like motion as you're breathing. But just pay attention, bringing the mind to one point of focus. And when the mind is able to sit with that object of its focus, it can relax a little bit. It doesn't feel pulled in multiple directions. That's where the mind gets exhausted, it gets very tired. So we really want to just be right here, focused on the breath, for 3 more deep breaths, or 3 more gentle breaths. You don't have to change the breath quite yet. And then we're going to change the breath, but do it from a table posture. So let's go ahead and shift forward onto hands and knees and bring the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. And right from here, we'll move to cat-cow. Inhale, let the belly expand, and then it shifts downwards. The tailbone and the head shift up. Exhale, really exhale all the way, and if we are doing that, the belly is going to contract, and we pull the belly up, the tailbone and the head can shift down. Inhaling, expanding into cow posture. Exhaling, engaging into cat. So continuing this motion, the pace of your breath. As we're building the breath, allow the breath to start right before the motion starts. So it's like the force, the movement is occurring from the breath. And you might be able to create a little bit of sound with the breath. So it's almost like you're yawning, but you're keeping the lips sealed and getting more power and consistency in the breath. Really strengthening the breathing system as we're moving through this. Now you might notice the wrists start to get a little tired as they've been flexed for a little bit. We're going to take one more into cow, and then we'll keep the hips over the knees and start to take the hands, walking or sliding the hands forward with the fingers spread wide until you can lower closer to the mat and the chest, the head get closer. You're going to feel a little bit of a pull in the armpits, but come out of that just so we can assess. That was a little bit too early for the body to stretch in that position, so we're going to keep warming the body. Take the knees apart and rest in child's posture for a moment. Take the arms and extend them forward. Lift the forearms off the mat. Another deep breath here. So inhaling, feeling the belly expand all the way up to the chest. Exhaling, releasing from the chest all the way down into the belly. Calming the nervous system with these deep breaths. Inhale, rise up to table, and then bring the knees closer together and come standing onto the knees. Bring the hands behind, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back, straighten the arms, open up, look upwards. And exhale, release, bring the hands down, come to table, and extend that right leg, lifting it behind, pressing through the heel. 3 times on the exhale. Draw the knee to the nose, bringing head down and knee up. Inhale, extending and lifting. Exhaling, drawing in. Inhale, extending. Once more. And this time, we're going to take this right leg, keep it straight, and send it over to the right. See if you can keep it perpendicular to the body for a moment and lift it high, and then bring the right foot down. Toes are facing forward or slightly towards the mat. Plant the left palm with the fingers spread wide so you have weight into the fingertips. Inhale, lift the right arm up towards the sky. Look upwards. Now we're just going to move through this, keeping the right leg where it is. The next exhale, thread the right arm through the left. Keep the left arm straight. Now when you're here, you feel a little bit of a stretch in the right leg. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, thread through. Let's take 3 more. Totally focused on the breath and the motion. Any changing sensations that you're experiencing in the body or even in the mind. And then we'll inhale, keep that right arm lifted for a moment, and then bring the right hand down. Lift the right leg, take it all the way around past the left foot, and bring the top of the right foot down off of the mat. Look over the left shoulder for the right foot. Deep, consistent breath. We're going to be inhaling and bringing the right leg back to center, drawing the trunk to center. Let's find a pigeon for a moment. So bring the right knee to the right hand and slide the left leg back. And maybe we keep the heel underneath the hip. So if you're a little closed in the hip, this is probably where you're going to want to be. Get a little leverage with the height. If you're more open in the hip, you can scooch that right foot over slightly to the left. And I don't think we're going to actually fold into this. I think we're just going to stay up so that we can get some extension in the low back. But turn the head to the right and turn the head to the left. And again to the right and to the left. Then to center and look upwards. And bring the head to center. We'll come out of this. So find your way back into table, and then rest either in child's posture, or we haven't been there yet, but if you'd like, downward facing dog is an option too. Roll over the toes, lift the knees, send the hips back. We're going to take 5 deep breaths wherever you are. So we did one side, woke up the right side. Let's wake up the left side. Let's meet back in table. And on the next inhale, with the knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Actually, before we go there, let's go ahead and come to standing on the knees. Take the hands forward and then start to circle the hands, just in case the flexion is getting tiring. But the more we do it, the easier it gets. Okay, so just rotating through the wrists. And then we'll create a fist with the left hand, turn the fist down, and maybe hold it, draw it in slightly for a couple deep breaths. Holding it with the right hand, keeping the left arm straight, and then switching. And then we'll go ahead and work on the other side. And if you're working with a really hard surface under the mat and a thin mat, always remember you could put like a blanket under the knees or roll over the edges of the mat if needed, although it creates a little complication, but just adjust, do what you can. Next inhale, lift the left leg up, pressing through the left heel. Not too high, just as high as the hip. And then 3 times, nice and slow. Exhale, knee to nose. So you take that very strong breath. You start the breath, and then the movement follows. Feel the power in the body. After this third one, we'll extend the leg, keeping it straight as best as you can, and then start to take that left leg out to the left, perpendicular to the mat and the trunk, and then lifting it, lower the left foot all the way down. Pick the left arm up towards the sky. Another deep breath. We're taking 5 motions, exhaling that left arm through the right, keeping the right arm straight, and inhaling, taking the left arm up. So as you're doing this, we're getting some rotation in the spine. We're also getting nice stretch in that left shoulder, all the way around to the shoulder blade. And while we're here, we're also working on stretching that left leg through the groin and the hamstrings. If you get tired with the hands, you can always create fists instead of having that hand flat. So I think that was 5. We'll go ahead and come out of this, bringing the left hand down, pick up the left leg, go ahead and slide it over past the right foot, bring the top of the foot down, and look over the right shoulder for the left foot. And inhale, come back to center. Draw that left knee to the left hand into a variation of pigeon. Slide the right leg back. And then we're sitting on the heel, or we're heel toeing and just scooching that foot over to the right. We're staying lifted in the trunk, So you could feel a nice opening in the hip flexor and a bit of a stretch on the left hip. Turn the head left and right a couple times. And then to the center, lifting the head up. And head to neutral. Let's come out of this. Hands down, come to the knees. Now we're going to find downward facing dog. Roll over the toes, lift the hips. Remember, we want weight towards the feet, so if you need to separate the feet, bend the knees, then you can get a little bit more leverage to take the hips further back away from the hands. You want fingers spread. And then on the next exhale, let's step walk, or maybe jump the feet if you're feeling energetic, to the top of the mat into a forward fold. Heel toe the feet to the edges of the mat. And then fold right over the legs. Let the head go. Maybe bring hands to opposite elbows. Let's inhale. Come up halfway, lengthen the spine. See if you can bring it so that it's parallel to the ground, and bring the hands to the hips. Put a soft bend in the knees, and then start to just rise, keeping the back totally intact, not bending any part of the spine as best as you can. And then coming up to a strong standing position, bringing the feet so they're hips distance apart. We still have hands to hips. So hips distance apart, maybe slightly wider, but not as wide as the mat. And then let's take the hands to the sacrum and inhale, lift the heart. So we're pressing into the sacrum. Exhale, come to a half forward fold. So back is staying nice and straight as we go through. Inhale, we go into a little bit of a back bend, and then exhale halfway down. Inhale and exhale. Again, start the breath first. And exhale. As you're going into those back bends, engage the thighs, engage the glutes. So we can protect the low back. It's a good time to really wake up the breath, wake up the brain cells. Almost the middle of the day. Couple more. And we'll come to standing. Once you're in standing, take the arms and circle them all the way up. Bring the palms together. And looking upwards, draw the thumbs to the heart center. Let's take a couple of standing postures today. And I think what we'll do is we'll start by stepping the feet apart along the mat and opening the arms to a nice strong T. So while you're here, just close the eyes for a moment and just really pay attention to the position of the arms, position of the legs. So first, let's turn the toes out away from each other. And then bend the elbows to create 90-degree angles with the elbows. And we'll have the palms face forward. On the next exhale, bend the knees. Coming into a very nice, strong stance here. Squeeze the elbows and the shoulders back. You're going to take a little bit of a side bend from here. Bring the right hand down to the thigh, or maybe the forearm to the thigh. Take the left arm up towards the sky, and maybe up and over the left ear. And the next inhale, come to center. Left hand can come down, right arm inhales up. On the exhale, bend over to the left. Still having a nice support system with the legs. The next inhale, come back to center. Bend those arms again, palms facing forward. And then let's straighten the arms. Take the arms all the way up towards the sky. Palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Pivot the left foot so it's facing the side of the mat. Right foot facing the short side of the mat. And then open the arms to a T. We're going into Warrior B. Lunge into the right knee and turn the head to look past the right fingertips. Shoulders back and down. Lots of space between shoulders and neck and the ears. Sink in for another deep breath. Make sure that the knee is over the right ankle, not past it. It can be before it. Straighten the right leg and let's go to the left side. Right toes face the long side of the mat, left toes face the short side. Lunge into the left knee. Look past the left fingertips. Soften the eyes. We want to use our vision, but in a very soft way, very relaxed way, so we can focus internally and not externally so much. Sink in, and then straighten the left leg and pivot to face the side of the mat. Bring the hands behind and clasp opposite elbows with the hands. Heel toe the feet a little closer together, still much wider than hips distance, and turn both of the feet to face the short side of the mat with the right foot forward. Look down, let the left toes also face forward as opposed to the left, so we can square the hips. Inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, come halfway down. So might be less than halfway. Or if we can become parallel to the mat, then we'll consider that halfway. Take the right hip back, left hip forward, and we can feel the right leg stretching. So that right hip back, left hip forward to square the hips. And we'll take one more breath. Inhale, come up, but keep the arms as they are. Pivot to the back side or the other side with the left foot forward. Right toes also facing forward. Inhale, lift upwards. Exhale, come halfway or less, but you can just, wherever you are, make sure that the back is not rounding. Feel that lengthening through the low back. That focus will help make sure that we aren't collapsing in the spine. Making sure that the head isn't kind of hanging loose here. So we're also working on strengthening the back of the neck when we're working against gravity like this. Left hip back, right hip forward. We'll take another deep breath. And inhale, rise up, take the arms out. You can take the hands around, shake the arms out, and then let's face the front of the mat. From here, inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold over the legs, release down. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, lower down, bend the knees. You can bring hands down, bring the knees down. And let's go back into heart chakra posture. So keep the hips over the knees. We tried this earlier. Slide the palms forward until the forehead comes to the mat or gets closer to the mat. The chin might come down to the mat, or the head might be floating if not set on a prop. And as you're breathing here, just really noticing where you're feeling the stretch. Hopefully it feels easier to be here than the first time we got in really quick and left it pretty quickly. And we'll take one more deep breath. And we'll inhale, rise up to table, and come right to seated. Let's now focus on the tension in the neck and making sure we can get some of that tension out, freeing up the neck, which is a very important connector between our brain and the rest of our body. So let's take care of it by first starting to take those chin tucks, chin forward and chin in. Bring the head to center. Take a breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Releasing any tension you're holding on to in the neck. Let's turn the head left and right. The movement is faster than the breath. When we're moving the head, we're usually moving it at a fairly quick pace. So let's train it to be open and agile. Then we'll bring the head to center. Roll the shoulders in circles. Take that right arm out to the side and then take it across the chest. Bring the left arm in front and hook that arm in. Pull it into the chest. Maybe a breath out through the mouth, releasing tension. And then we'll go ahead and turn this into a twist by taking the right arm out to the right and behind, left hand to the right knee. Get tall and then turn to the right. Put pressure into that knee to help release tension around the left shoulder and shoulder blade. And we'll inhale, come to center. Take the left arm out to the left and then across the chest, right arm in front, pull the arm. We're almost ready to rest. Soften the face, soften the scalp, the eyes, relax the jaw. Let's go ahead and take that left arm out and behind, right hand to left knee, get tall, and push into that right knee, turning the head to the left. And we will inhale, come back to center, fold the hands into each other, and lift the right ear up. Slowly lower the chin. Slowly lift the chin. Find that sweet spot where you feel a little bit more of a pull than other spots. Work with that tension and breathe there. And bring the head back to center. Lift the left ear. Lower the chin. Lift the chin. Find that spot where there's a little bit more pull. Might be a similar spot or might be a little different than the right side. And inhale, bring the head to center. Tilt, left, right, slow going at first. Then release the head, shake it out. And lift the head. Before we come to lying down on the back, go ahead and bring the hands to the knees and turn the head down, chin down. Pull the pelvic floor up and the chin is down. And now focus on the life force, prana, circulating through the trunk and all the vital organs, all the cells and tissues. Focusing on life and remembering, as we started, focusing on the spine itself as this major connector with the whole body. Now focusing on all the organs as they connect to the whole body. That none of these parts of ourselves live in isolation. They are all connected. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release out. And let's go right into Shavasana. Come all the way down to the back. Bring the feet to the corners of the mat. Arms resting alongside the body, palms flipped up. Take the shoulders back and then let the weight of the body keep the shoulders in place. The palms are flipped up with the fingers slightly curled. We want the hands free. They take up the connection of the hands and the brain, take up quite a lot of space, and we want to keep that space free right now. So no contact with the palms. Toes are turned out away from each other so the legs can relax all the way from the hips down to the toes. And now feeling the right arm release, allowing the left arm to release, releasing the right leg, releasing the left leg. Notice both arms released. Now notice both legs released. Become aware of all the limbs, the arms and the legs totally released. Learning to let go at a moment's notice. Then feel the trunk relax, the front of the trunk, the sides of the trunk, and the back of the trunk. Bring your attention to the neck, let the neck relax. Become aware of the whole trunk and the neck. And bring your attention to the jaw, let it release, the cheeks, the temples, the forehead, the bridge of the nose, the nostrils, the upper lip, the lower lip. Relax the scalp, relax the ears, relax the whole head together. Noticing the whole head, and then become aware of the whole body, aware of the whole body put together, aware of the relaxed physical body resting on the mat. And for another moment, resting completely in the body, in the heart, and the mind. Without changing anything, simply become aware of the breath. Notice the breath moving through. And then start to deepen the breath. Start to move the hands and the feet. Maybe stretch the arms behind and extend the feet and the toes forward, lift the belly button, find a nice gentle back bend. And then bring the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the knees. Feeling refreshed, re-energized. You might roll over to the side or you might rock right up to seated. And then we'll be sealing our practice, bringing the palms together, drawing the thumbs to the heart center, closing the eyes, and remembering that as we take care of ourselves, we're more able to take care of others to whom we are all connected. So let yourself feel grateful for taking the time to do that. And thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.